am very excited to have Keeks Reid with us today.
Hi.
She's a journalist, TV presenter, and so much more.
Oh, thank you.
On to the first question.
Yes.
Can you please describe who you are and what you do?
Yes, of course. So, I'm Keeks. I am a journalist, TV presenter. I work as beauty director at Cosmopolitan, and I do beauty segments for This Morning as well.
Wonderful. Are you going to tell us about the other secret? Or that's later?
And
the next question. You have multiple career choices, but what inspired your main career path?
So I always knew I wanted to work in journalism. My mum famously said that I used to get her to read me the newspaper when I was little, which I think is a little bit weird and a bit oddball, but that just describes me. I just love writing and love reading. But I actually thought I wanted to be in celebrity journalism. Do you know the 3 a.m. girls that used to go to parties and do all the gossip?
Yeah.
I thought that I wanted to do that, and then I realised that actually I don't like being out past 9 p.m. So then I was interning and then got to do some interning in a beauty cupboard for a newspaper, and that's when I started just loving beauty. And I moved into hairdressing media for most of my career until 2020. And then that's when I got to kind of branch out a bit more and work with consumer and start doing presenting with This Morning. And I just kind of recently, I'd say about a year ago, wanted to kind of delve more into a specialism. And people associate me a lot with hair because of how much I've worked within hair media. So I started learning hairdressing, just over a year ago, and I haven't started my next bit of training yet, but if you need someone to cut a bob or just do a good blow dry, I can do that now.
This was a surprise to me that after so many years of being a journalist that you also learned a completely different craft.
I think if you were someone like me and you're competitive or you pride yourself on being good at things that you love, I don't know if I'd recommend it because it was so frustrating being a complete newbie at something and learning something completely from scratch. It's really fulfilling, but it was really scary at the time because I was your head is just in my hands. What do I do?
But you would do it all over again. Right?
Yeah, I would. And I do love it now.
Wonderful. Yeah, we might have some people that are going to request to trial.
Oh, yeah, DM me.
Well, what is something that you wish people know about your profession?
Okay, so I think in regards to journalism is how in-depth it actually is. I think that in this age, there's a lot of comparison of beauty journalism with influencing, and I can so see why, because we do all the same kind of testing on our own faces and stuff, but actually the thing that sets us apart and what makes influencers great is that they have a really great point of view and people build trust with them. But the reason that they should build trust with beauty journalists is because of how close we get to work with the experts in the field and understand the technology and science behind things and come from a very impartial point of view for our journalism. When it comes to a review that's on myself, of course it's my own point of view, but when it comes to creating content for somewhere like Cosmo or anywhere that I have written in the past, it's always based on so much expert advice, and I wish that people kind of knew that a bit more.
And also sources. I think it's always you have to cross-check and make sure that everything is factual. So that requires a lot of work in the background.
Sometimes it can take months for things to go through legal because we have to be so careful about what we say because of things like defamation. And so what you get is really good journalism that is fact-checked, that has gone through processes that isn't always the case online.
I love more, I hope that journalism, especially in beauty, is going more into these in-depth cover stories, because I feel like the listicles have been done and overdone. And sometimes my team sends me PR clips being one of the 100 best new launches, and we're somewhere down 75th. And I don't know who has time to go down the list, but when it's a real story about the brand or the founders or the efficacy of a product, then it's just so much. It's a totally different piece of art.
And I think as well, us to be able to create more of that. I think the problem is sometimes that people do click more on the, roundups or whatever, and you have to feed the beast. But I love that kind of meaty journalism. I read about it in things like, I love interiors, for instance, and I love finding out about artistic sources and looking in depth about where things have come from. I hope that people care more about beauty in that way too.
I hope so too. We'll be counting on you to write the serious stories. Yeah. Speaking of stories, how did you discover us in the first place?
I discovered you through, I feel like it was PR, but we get so many releases every week. So a PR release has to really stand out. And I think I got something like, do you want to try this mask? And I was like, sure, I'll try a mask. And I just remember being hooked from then. I don't say yes to everything because I only have one face. So I do think I'm very particular with what I try, and our team is as well. And not to be like, you're lucky because we tried you, but I think it's when something stands out, you then just want to explore more of the brand, which is what happened with me with you guys.
Thank you. No, I'm fully aware that there's too many product launches and the industry is becoming very, very fast-paced, and we always consider ourselves fortunate when someone discovers us and it's willing to try our products, but also to learn more, because from one product you learn something, and then there's so much more to each brand. And we have been very fortunate also to be featured in Cosmo with much more deeper coverage and exposés. Yeah. So.
And always in my travel bag.
Thank you. This travel bag that's another. We need to do another series. Just what's on your travel bag. As a beauty journalist, it's all the top secrets are in your bag.
It's so true.
I would love to know something that you have accomplished that you're most proud of. Can be personal or professional.
I think for me, it would be the Black Beauty Hub at Cosmo. So the Black Beauty Hub is a section of Cosmopolitan that's just for Black and mixed heritage people to find what really works for them, or industry advice from dermatologists or trichologists about their hair and skin. And it's the kind of thing that I have access to because I work in my field, but not everyone has access to that. And I've always written about Black beauty content for Cosmo since I started writing there 9 years ago. But it felt like such an accomplishment to, first of all, it was amazing to have an editor that was so supportive with Claire, who's our editor now. And it's, post 2020, post everything, flaring up, she was still like, no, this is such an important part of our site and there's nowhere for people to really access it. So she was like, why don't we create a whole section for it? And I was like, oh my goodness, yes. So we did an amazing launch campaign, which was in tube stations and flyer postering. Yeah. And I've never been more proud of something in my life, and my family have just been so proud of me for it as well, because it's really helpful. It's one of the parts of our website that has the biggest dwell time, which is how long people stay in the section, which means that people that people that have access to it really care about it and trust what we're writing, which is just gratifying within itself.
It's dedicated, targeted audience, but they would not be coming back if it's not credible content.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, congratulations. I remember the buses and the tube station.
It was so cool. Driving through Brixton and just seeing all these fly posters. And I was like, I did that. To random cab drivers.
And it was it came from your idea, or was a few of you that kind of formulated it?
So it was my content from years ago, but our editor-in-chief was the one that said, why don't we put something together that's easy for people to access? And then she was like, go for it. So I got to name it. I got to come up with the idea for the shoot, work with our sponsor for the shoot, come up with our franchise, which is called the Little Black Beauty Book. So celebrities and industry experts will share, their little Black beauty book. So what they have, they rely on beauty-wise, and the dermatologists that they go to, and the hairstylists that don't mess up their hair, and it's really good. It's like a little if you know thing, and I can
share a few names that you might want to add onto your
gosh,
onto your book.
Yeah.
I have at least 3 that I've thought, wow, you're speaking.
Cool. No, that's amazing. We're always looking for more people.
Wonderful. What's the one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I would say it's hard because I'm like, if you would give that advice and then you make a change, would you have the life that you have now? I don't know.
This is spoken like a true journalist. I love it.
But I think if I could still maintain and have the life that I have now, but it would be more elevated, I'd say be less serious. I was very serious. I was so studious. I never got detention. I never bunked school. I was head girl. Like I was honestly just the most boring student ever. And I just feel like I could have probably been a bit naughty. Like I just had a bit more fun and been safe, but just had a bit more fun.
That's a great advice, because I feel like in this country, studying, it's such a priority. There's always exams and kids are always studying, always like achieving something more. Exactly. And I actually try to tell my kids, it's okay, this year doesn't really matter. And they're looking at me like I'm from another planet. It's like, what do you mean? This is the most important thing in our lives right now, this one exam and this one rating. But there's certain years that it's good to study at certain times and put a lot of effort, but it doesn't have to be
your life
continuous every moment.
I do think though, but it's, again, you don't know, but I'm not clever. Like I'm not someone that's just naturally academic. Like I have to work really hard, which is why I worked really hard and I still didn't get great grades. So I'm like, maybe if I worked less hard, would I even gone to uni? I don't know.
I think you're very clever. I don't think you can be a journalist and not be clever. This is it's a lot that goes into being a journalist. You have to be very, very, very well educated. You have to have a very big sense of the world. And
I think I'm quite worldly, and I think I'm good at picking up things, and like picking up like perceptive. I guess I am, but in regards to like book smart, I am not. Like I promise you, I'm not. You're very sweet, but But I think that's good. It shows you don't have to be like. One of my best friends in this industry didn't go to uni, and she has no student loans now, and she has her full salary all the time, and it's lovely for her. And she's in the same position as I am. So.
Oh no, definitely. I think education comes in so many different ways, and it doesn't have to be the straightforward path.
Yeah.
It's there's so many successful people that have dropped out of university. So I mean, we're not advocating that, but
no.
I think life is gonna take you on a path. Yeah. Apart from thinking that you're not clever, which is not, I'm not gonna accept that. Is there something that people would be surprised to know about you?
I think I don't want this is going to be bad if it sounds like a soundbite, but I think people just think of me as being just like very nice. But I don't think you can get to where I've gotten in my career and just being nice, if that makes sense. Like I would hope that people would say that I'm, good to work with and kind, hopefully, but I don't know if I'm just nice. I don't know if that's a good answer.
No, it's a great answer.
I don't think you can be like, I have my own business. I do, create content. I'm independent. I'm shrewd. I just think there's so many different parts of me, but I think that people see me on Cosmo and on This Morning and think, oh, she's nice.
Because you're smiling all the time.
Because I smile.
Maybe you need to stay more serious.
Yeah. I think my Capricorn side of me which is my sun sign is Capricorn, which is very serious. I think people, if they found out that I was a Capricorn, they'd be like, what? You do not seem like one. But I'm like, no, I'm a real Capricorn.
My husband is a Capricorn. Yes.
So very.
I know Capricorns very well.
Yeah,
very hardworking,
leaders. Straight down the line, loyal. But if you cross them, you're literally dead.
Yes. No, there's no turning back.
No turning back.
Do not cross her, literally, because she's not gonna take you back. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going on a path.
Yeah, exactly, to success. Yeah. Money oriented.
Yeah, driven. Let's just say driven.
Yeah. Money oriented is probably a horrible way. But like to think of how can you be the most ambitious person in the room, and like how can you always make sure you're creating a better life for yourself.
I made my husband take a dancing lesson, and of course he was awful. Like it's the first dancing lesson, and I sent it to the kids, and he was so upset because he thought, how can you I'm not good. Why would you share it? And I'm like, well, we have to wait years before you become really good. So,
well, do you now understand why I was crying when I did my hair course?
Yes, no, everything is way more clear now. Yes, I think I might know the answer to a few of the questions. Now on to something more frivolous, like beauty.
Nice.
What is one you cannot live without, beauty product or a tool?
Okay, so there are so many.
I can imagine.
But I thought, let me bring a hair product because naturally. So I've brought K18's leave-in repair mask. Have you used this before?
I am very bad with hair products.
Okay,
I'm very good with skin.
Hair?
I do. Yeah.
I'm going to leave this for you.
Oh,
yeah, you can
thank you. We're going to make this the rule now.
Yeah.
Whatever product you bring, you leave.
No, it's so good. So essentially, this is amazing if you bleach your hair, if you relax it or perm it or do any kind of chemical service. And it's a bond repair treatment. I do not do that PR. It's just an incredible treatment. You put it on after you've washed it and dried, just like with a towel. Leave it for 4 minutes and then style your hair. It goes into beyond just the cuticle of your hair. It goes right to the core, to the cortex of your hair and repairs from inside out.
Oh.
And you only need a small pump and then emulsify it through your hands.
I have been looking for a product that protects, because I blow dry my hair once a week.
Okay.
So this is it.
This is it.
And K18 has I know that they have their own patents and they're a very sophisticated brand.
It's honestly so incredible. Don't get me wrong, I really love Olaplex, but this is like more hardcore than Olaplex. It's so incredible.
We like hardcore.
Yeah.
We like to think we are hardcore.
You guys are
And
hardcore.
also it uses molecular repair. We used to have a mask called molecular hydration mask. So they also speak my own language.
It's like they're so sciencey.
I'm keeping it.
No, honestly, I promise you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I know also the people that invested in this brand. So
Really?
Yeah.
They're probably really
It's a very
rich
strong
now.
brand.
Yeah.
It's a very strong brand.
It's a great brand.
Wonderful. On to more beauty. I'm very intrigued to see how you're going to describe 111 Skin in 3 words.
In 3 words, I would say efficacious, luxurious, and it's a hyphenate. I hope this is science-backed.
Love it. Allowed.
Yeah.
Allowed. Yes. I'm going to make an exception.
Thank
4
you.
words. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is exactly how I see my brand. So I'm so happy that you have the same, visually you see it the same way.
I do, because I don't think, and I'm not paid to say this, but I don't think there's any brand that comes to mind that combines luxury and science-backed technology innovation in the same way that 111 Skin does. It's such a pleasure to use, and you feel really just like, I'm gonna do my serums or I'm gonna put my mask on or my eye patches when I'm on the plane, but you know it's also working.
Thank you. That's what we wanted to achieve when we created the brand. We wanted to merge the sensorial with very visible before and after results, and I'm glad. It's been 15 years, so I'm glad that you see it now clearly. Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. This makes me really happy.
Okay.
What is a beauty or fashion trend that you cannot wait to see finish?
Probably just micro trends in general. So like we do cover this, like we have to because it's something that's viral, but like strawberry girl makeup, there'll be like vanilla makeup, so it those little ones that you see bubble up and you're like, well, this is just, it looks good on that really beautiful girl on Pinterest or on TikTok, but is it a trend? No. I love trends and I love the way that we used to report on trends, and it's not done as much now, where you go backstage at Fashion Week, you talk to the lead hairdresser or makeup artist, you do that across 7 shows at each Fashion Week, you come back with your editors, this is me as like a lowly assistant, like writing it out with my dictaphone, and then you say, okay, you saw like really vivid blush there, and then you saw really frosty makeup there, what does that kind of, what's that talking to, what are we seeing being, replicated within art from like a political standpoint or like a financial standpoint? What is it, what is it trying to say?
What's provoking it?
Yeah, and then how can we then translate that into something for our consumers and our readers, and then that trend is then shown in real life. That doesn't happen as much anymore, and I really miss that. I hope that we see a kind of a coming back round of that kind of real creativity.
I completely agree with you. I think these micro trends are quite dangerous, because it also creates it makes people purchase things that they don't really need, and it's not just in beauty, it's also coming in surgery, for example. There's these trends, and I know that when press asks my husband questions, he's always just saying, if it's something you ask me about a current trend on TikTok, just come back and ask me like 2 months later, and we'll see if we can even discuss this. Because and I think this generates just unusual amount of spend in people consuming too much versus just really staying focused on the quality stuff and the important things. So of course, trends, we all need trends because we're living in a generation that needs to evolve, but it's exactly the micro ones are the dangerous ones, where they're just, turning into opportunities to sell stuff.
It's just, I love the as much as backstage is hectic, as you know, like I hated it at the time, but now I look back at those moments and I'm like, that was so interesting, like listening to like Guido or Eugene or Pat McGrath talk about like where their vision came from, because they were talking to the designer who was using this fabric because of this thing. That was just so filling for my soul, and I think it's sad that we still have that, but it's kind of been superseded by these micro trends.
And also, I think it's also not so many people are asking these questions anymore. We also do a lot of backstage with 101 Skin, and sometimes like people just come and take the content of, for example, the mask. And some journalists or publications would come and interview our esthetician and ask her, why you're doing this treatment, the same as you would interview the hairstylist or the stylist for the show, or the makeup artist. And there's a lot of thought that goes into this. It's not just, we're just going to show up with these products or with this makeup palette. It's a lot of creative thinking. And sometimes people don't acknowledge the experts behind the scene.
Yeah, this is sad. But hopefully I honestly think things are cyclical, and I think just we'll get fatigued by this. Like you can see it. We're fatigued. The people that are online are going to become fatigued. You see people returning to long form media like Substack and YouTube and stuff. So hopefully, where we're going to longer form content, people will crave that creativity again, and we'll be able to thrive.
More quality conversations. Yeah. Thank you for the answer. Can you tell me what makes you stronger?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me, what makes me stronger is my community around me. It's like my friends and my family, they lift me up and they make me a better person, which makes me a better line manager, which makes me a better daughter and friend. I think that's what makes me stronger is community. I couldn't exist without them. They're the best things in the whole world, and they lift me up whenever I need lifting up. I don't have a partner at the moment. I don't have, a dog even. Like I just am by myself, when I'm at home, and I think they keep me sane.
I love that you put family and friends and community equally aligned, because we're influenced by both family members, but also the people that we encounter throughout life that we choose to be around.
Exactly. I've got two older sisters, and an older brother, but they're a lot older than me. So I grew up with my parents, by myself in my house, and functioned very much as an only child because of that. So when I was young, I'd always have my friends over. I'd always be around friends because I didn't have that, like people the same age as me around me when I was younger. So my mum would always be like, your friends, why you always talk about your friends? I'm like, because they're my family as well. They're my chosen family.
I think I told my husband today that I want to live with my friends. I mean, I think he misunderstood because I meant him and my friends.
Yeah,
I think he kind of felt like, you prefer your friends to me.
No, me and my friend, this sounds really weird, but we always talk about how fun it would be to have like a commune. Like,
I am all for this.
How lovely to have like that community around you, and you can just like pop round and like cook together, and I still want a partner as well. I don't want it just to be me and like loads of my friends, but I do want a family. But I think it'd be like in the olden times, you know, when the village would raise a child together. That's so nice.
There we go. Yeah. Maybe we'll do like something about living in our community with 101 Skin. You can tap in and tap out.
How amazing.
And the last question, it's for you to ask me anything you want to ask.
I've got a great question. What was or what has been the best party you have ever been to and why?
Ooh, I love it.
I feel like you've been on yachts. Amazing. I need to know.
This is an amazing question. Yes, because we've been to quite a few parties. And I love that you're going into the party, not into like the business side of things. The best party I have ever been to is my renewal of the vows with my husband. So we had a tiny little wedding when his family was not so positive towards me in the beginning. Okay. This has changed over the years, but that was like way back in time. And so we had a tiny little wedding. In fact, I was pregnant with my son, and it was just him and I in the town hall, just with a witness. So it wasn't glamorous. It was just something for us. Yeah. And then 2019, luckily, right before COVID, we decided to renew our vows, and we had about 100 family and friends with us, and it was in Greece. And honestly, it was the best day and party in my life, because I was surrounded by people I love. Everybody was meaningful to us because they've been with us on a journey. I have been with my husband for more than 20 years. Yeah. So it's people we have collected over the years as close friends, plus my kids. My 2 kids were there. So we were kind of renewing our vows. And then I looked, and both of my kids were crying next to me. And then after the ceremony was over, like we were dancing, you know, Greek music, Indian music, Bulgarian music. And it was just, I just remember it as the happiest day in my life.
Oh, that's so lovely. And also that your kids were there. I was there. My mum and dad would have been together since I was conceived, but they got married when I was 11. And like, I don't think the impact that had on me to see my parents like, happy and like telling each other how much they love each other in front of their family. It's just so lovely, and they're still together now, and it's just being a part of that is just, as a child, to see your parents like that is so lovely. So it'd be a nice memory for them too.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. What a great conversation.